It's funny to me because I kind of want to stay here forever. I think in the presence of you, Cancer, it's quiet right now, and it's nice. Which makes, yeah, it makes sense to me because Cancer is for me the sign where we connect with our subconscious. And I think our subconscious is saying a lot of things, but one of the things that is saying is to keep calm in these times because a lot of stuff is going on the outside. So that it is even more important that we are calm on the inside. And I think the pace is going to pick up. And I don't know if it's going to be the coming weeks, but month, perhaps. Yeah. I'm not, am I really not good at predicting the future? I don't think so. I'm not sure if I believe in it. I think predicting the future, if it is possible, then it is a what would you call that? A high art? Like yeah, I would call it a high art in German. Like an art form that requires refined skills. Like you really need to have mastered a lot of different subjects to in order to do that, to predict the future. And one of the things that I see is majorly standing in our way is Mercury, our mind, our concept of reality, because Mercury is amazing. Um, I love the world of thoughts, but um, the world of thoughts only works within a limited set of information. So if you don't have enough information, your mind automatically comes up with wrong solutions or wrong perspectives. Um, but when we are aware of that and always strive for new information, but also getting rid of old information, um, cleaning house, cleaning the mind again and again and again, and then inviting in new things, appropriate thoughts, appropriate thought patterns, and then we have a chance. But we need to be humble enough to also change our minds because that's essentially what I'm saying here. You need to be able to change your mind. And that is actually a very good uh, introduction into what I've prepared for this reading. And I made a second drawing. I'm kind of half happy with it. Could have been a bit bigger on the font side. Oops, there we go. Ooh. Yep. Um, and what I intended with this picture is to show why I think I was wrong in the past when I said the year starts with Libra. And that's because I followed Crowley's understanding of the pages, the princesses. They're on the outside wheel here. Sorry, there. The pages or princesses, they're the same on the outside, always covering a whole season, a whole 3 month of the year. And Crowley had um, the Princess of Wands swapped with the Princess of Swords. So these two here, sorry, these two. And then also these two. Where am I now? There. Um, and I don't think he's right in that, because if you look at the colors, it becomes quite obvious if you swap only on the outside though, red with yellow, you have yellow here, and you already have yellow here with Aquarius, and then you lack fire that is red in like from what we're in right now in this season, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces season. And I don't think that's right. And I don't know if like Crowley very much talked about like that all the elements are like building on each other. And I'm not sure if he was really aware of what he was implying there. Or I don't know, maybe he was misunderstood. I'm not quite sure about what it says in his sorry, I need to fix the camera. Just a tad bit out of frame. There we go. Better. Not perfect, but better. Yeah, I think all the elements are present at all times, obviously, and I think that the pages or the princesses are the ones that are invisible, that are working in the background. That's why they also have a 3-month period that they impress on, and they are being oppressed on, as opposed to the other visible court cards or court energies. Um, and I think it all starts with the Princess of Wands up here, the Page of Wands, because the cycle goes like the princess becomes the queen, and then the queen brings forth or returns to her former state and becomes the princess again. It both make sense. And while she's the queen, she gives birth to the knight, the boy, the prince, and the knight matures into the king on his own, independent. And once the king lays eyes on the princess matures into the queen, and the cycle starts anew. So for me, the cycle begins with a page, with the Princess of Wands, and her maturation into the Queen of Wands, because that is the first instance that we can see that the court energy becomes visible. So because wands are the highest element, like it's wands, cups, swords, and then pentacles. Um, and that's why I think the wheel starts with Aries. The astrological year starts with Aries. I mean, there are many points where it makes sense for the astrological year to start. Another prominent point is, I would say, Cancer and Capricorn, and then also Leo, because of the symmetry of the rulerships of the planets over the signs. But I don't want to go into that right now. I just want to work with this, hopefully somewhat useful image that I've drawn. And let's go into your reading now. So this is a reading for the entire lunar cycle that already has started, so I'm a bit late for you, Cancer. I apologize for that. Um, so it's from the new moon in Sagittarius to the new moon in Capricorn, so basically all of Capricorn season, since the new moon or the new moons in general right now happen so late in the degree or in the sign, I'm sorry. This time it was in Sagittarius 29, so second to last degree. And it's all about consequences. The Ten of Wands is the associated tarot card with the last decan of Sagittarius, and it's the consequences from past decisions. And then again, what is time? I mean, future, past, what's the difference really? So it's kind of like also pre-consequences, so to speak, like can you call that pre-shadowing? Like a pre-shadowing of a future decision showing itself kind of like as like pre-consequences, like life rearranging itself and aligning itself. You are aligning yourself to your future decision. It's kind of wonky, kind of weird, but I mean, our brain is, I'm not sure if it's not really well wired, so to speak, for past future folding in on itself, I want to say, or if it's just a sickness of our brain, could or of ourselves really. And you can, yeah, I mean, both make sense in a way. So I have a cluster fudge of cards on the floor. But I meant to say that I'm using this pretty deck, the Druidcraft Tarot, as the main deck right now. And I still have a cluster fudge of cards on the floor. Let's see. And one more. Let's put you back. Okay. Order. We need order. Okay, what can we see for Cancer in the present moment as a past position for the past? What can we see about the past for Cancer in the present moment for Capricorn season? Thank you. And on the floor again. Okay. There we go. Rebirth, Judgment, Pluto. Whoopsie. There we go. The boy being reborn. It's kind of funny with the picture. Kind of like looks like to me looks like a boy walking out of the womb of the mother. I mean, there is the hair at the bottom, which is well, it's more like the bunny, but the hair is also a sign for fertility, fecundity. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, I don't know the English names for any of these three plants that are there at the bottom, but this is definitely a magical plant. I love this one. Have several of these plants at home, and this one is also quite enchanting. All of them not the easiest plants. All of them can make you sick or can make you suffer in one way or another. I mean, oops, this one can get out of hand quite easily, like overgrowing things and destroying things like walls and buildings and such. Interesting. Let's draw some more cards and see what wants to come out here. A card for the present moment. Thank you. That was quick. King of Swords. That is Gemini energy. The kings are for me the mutable signs, because the mutable signs are for me the most adaptable and versatile and resilient signs. And I think that is especially true in these turbulent times that we're in, because things are changing so fast. And in the past position, we have the Chariot. Two major arcana coming out for you. That is actually your card, Cancer. That is your card. And at the bottom, we have Strength, another major arcana, this time Leo. Oh, I love her. Is that jewelry? Like the thingy on her arm? That stands out to me. And her sword is laying in the grass. She doesn't need it, but it's there. It is there. Okay. Now I'm gonna clarify with the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. I love this deck. I pre-shuffled this, so we don't need to do that. I can just go ahead and clarify Rebirth. We have 2 cards, no, 3. Strength card again. Strength, the 3 of Cups, protection, and the 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands is victory, but victory because of authenticity. The one who is authentic is the victor. The one who is authentic is the victor. Strength. Protection. Well, strength doesn't need protection. I mean, there's always a wild animal depicted in the strength card, well, at least usually. But the funny thing is that the woman depicted there has or is taming the beast. Usually being shown by her hand in the beast's mouth. Here it's on her head. She's guiding the animal. She has control over her animalistic side. And traditionally, Leo is ruled by the sun, so it is about our inner light. And I think the beast is our ego. So it's good when we have control over our ego. But then again, I'm not a huge fan of control because we can easily misuse control. I think a healthy ego comes from an ego that is flexible, that can be small, but also can be big. But because I don't see anything good coming out of the impossibility of having a big ego. So I don't see over a longer period of time, I don't see the point of an ongoing ego death. Like you need that often, or we need that often when we're taking the first steps towards aligning ourselves with higher truth, because our ego stands in our way. But generally, a small ego is not always good. I think a flexible ego that can be worked like a tool that can be blown up but also inflated without much pain. That's up to us, but definitely with some flexibility, with the ability to move the ego in place or out of place. And then we have the 3 of Cups and the 6 of Wands. The decan associated with the 3 of Cups, it's the second decan of your sign. It's called protection. And it's kind of like protecting one's inner core, something that is growing, like a baby, like a pet project, an idea, our inner child, a child, an actual child, so that we can show up authentically, which means that we become vulnerable later. A child that is growing up in an unprotected, emotionally unprotected environment will have a very hard time once they've grown up to show themselves authentically, to make themselves vulnerable, because they're so hurt. They will be so hurt. I think we're going through many rebirths throughout our lives, and one of them, or some of them rather, some of them is the alignment, or is through the alignment with our inner child, with our inner vulnerability. We don't have any pages here yet. And I'm saying that because the princesses, like I talked about before with the wheel, are the most innocent of the court cards. And the page that is working in the background of your sun sign, let's say you're here because you have a sun in Cancer, is the Princess of Swords. And there are two swords on the table right now. One in the hands of the King of Swords, and one lying in the background in the grass in this strength card. In the other strength card, there is no sword though. And then I'm being reminded that, like, this person here, kind of like a priest, but also perhaps a herald, like heralding in, like heralding the arrival of the newborn, of the boy walking out there. And I'm being reminded that words, or the voice, or any sound can be a sword. I mean, we have that in the tarot with the swords as a depiction of air, and air obviously representing our mind, our thoughts, but also our spoken words. And Gemini is very quick with their words. You Cancer are much more balanced, but then again, you can also very much tap into the mind world as well as the emotional world. You can do both. Nine of Pentacles. One more card, please, for this King of Swords. Thank you. And we have the King of Cups. What was I talking about? You can do both. You have learned both. Not that Gemini is not able to do that. I mean, you do have an inclination towards the emotions, your water sign. But you have learned that the emotions are an energy source of the mind, of the thoughts. And the thoughts are just a, how do you say that in English? A formation, a forming of emotions. So the emotions are more like the raw energy, and Mercury takes up the energy of Venus and makes it more refined and more tangible, more specific, let's say. Refinement is a good word, but also giving form. So thoughts are giving form to emotions. And I think, at least to some degree, on some level, you have understood this. Or if you have not understood this, if you don't really know what I'm talking about, I want to say this concept is working on you in the background. I mean, you are Cancer. You are the subconscious sign. You are ruled by the moon, by the unseen. And your expression of that unseen is usually first and foremost emotional, but it's not limited to the emotional world. Because the emotional world is just a stepping stone away from the mental world. And through the subconscious, these two worlds, the emotional and the mental, are being filtered through our subconscious and then projected onto Earth, into us. We are projections, we are representations of something higher. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles here, but I don't really understand this card yet. Many tarot readers consider this to be a card of independence, because there's a quite independently depicted woman on the cards in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. But the decan, the second decan of Virgo, this card is associated with, I call it results or refinement. It is, the nines are always just one step away from closing out the cycle. So there are results in the Nine of Pentacles, and the Pentacles are the most tangible of all the elements. So we can most likely see the results already. But it's not quite there yet. And that's why I also call this refinement. It's not the end of all things, but it's almost. Just one step away from it. So perhaps there's one more step missing. There's one more step missing. And I want to say, with the underlying cards for the present moment, like it's the Hermit and then the Morning, which is a unique card to this deck. I think there's the Morning and the Night, or is it the Evening? I don't remember, but both have the like the Hermit has the flame at the end of the staff, and then the Morning has the sun peeking through the clouds here. That looks like inner light to me. Like there's some, yeah, because we talked about the ego and the sun and strength. Um, there's something about, maybe, yeah, maybe it's just that you have gone through quite considerable ego death, but now it is time to carefully build up that ego again in a way that you can easily deconstruct it again. Like what I said, flexibility is the key here. blow it up, deflate it, blow it up, deflate it, several times a day until it becomes second nature and you can just, within a second, you can just inflate it and then let it crumble in on itself like mid-sentence. That's the goal. When I'm able to do that, it's so gives me so much energy. The humility that comes with it, the humbleness that is needed, but then also is pride the right word? I'm not sure if pride is ever really good, but then again, there is a side of pride that is perhaps not bad, but it's not because of yourself, it's because of what you connected to. It is because of what is flowing through you. Because you are just lending your words to something. And we live better lives the more often we do that. We live more purposeful lives when we do that. Okay. And then we have the Chariot card. And your future position, which is you. Look at that pretty lady there. She looks very much in control of those two creatures in front of her chariot. Let's see, what can we see for the chariot here? What can we see for the future position for Cancer? Thank you. 10 of Pentacles, nice. Nice. Just one step away, seriously, it's just around the corner. That's crazy. That is so awesome. Okay, 3 more cards. We have the Devil at the bottom for the future, but don't worry about that. I put a pretty perspective on that. I promise. Okay, we have the King of Pentacles, another king, the third one, and then let's put you here. What do we have? 7 of Wands and 3 of Pentacles. 7 of Wands and 3 of Pentacles. Okay. One by one. King of Pentacles is Virgo energy, which is what the sign that is ruling over the 9 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles. So then the most dense energy comes through Virgo, and Virgo is all about discernment and having standards for me. So Virgo is usually a very picky energy. It analyzes, like it's Mercury ruled. So it's constantly analyzing and is deciding, is this good? Is this what I want? Is this in alignment with myself or not? And it's a sign that is very good at also cutting out things that are not good for it, that are inappropriate. That's because of Mercury, because Mercury is the second most capable archetype to say no and to cut out things. The first one is obviously Mars, but Mercury is quite good at that too. I mean, discernment is like, how do you say it in English? Something with wheat and chaff and sorting through them. You know what I mean. Um, yeah, the last step is accompanied here in the future by a mental process. Maybe it's just the awareness of what I said before, that you are becoming capable of having a flexible ego. Let's see, Seven of Wands, I call volition. It's like up to your will. What do you want? What moves you? What moves you? And Three of Pentacles is associated with planning, making plans. Plans working out, making new plans. It is the second decan of Capricorn, and Capricorn just loves to make plans. Somewhat related to Virgo, both earth signs. Capricorn is, though, much more decisive in a way than Virgo is. Virgo is more like, okay, where's the information? I'm just gonna work through it. And Capricorn is, because Capricorn is associated with Queen of Pentacles, yeah, she listens to the King of Pentacles, listens to his orders and relays them to the people, makes it possible what the king has decided. And the king is Virgo. The king is Virgo because Virgo is the most flexible one. That we're back at flexibility and resilience and adaptability. These three words are very important and interconnected and very important for these times. So perhaps it is saying that you need to learn, that you are learning in the future, the next 4 to 6 weeks, or even just days, whatever your time frame is here. You're learning to know your plans, to be aware of them and not avoid them, but also to know that not all of them are going to pan out in a major, like, not just a little bit, but in a major way, and not take it out on the ego, but to be humble, to let it deflate and be like, okay, yeah, I guess I was wrong. Okay, fine. And with as little resentment as possible. Of course, that is an art form, obviously, for all of us. But I think the more we are able to be flexible, I keep saying it, must be important, the better, because we have the devil for your future position here at the bottom. So in a nutshell, you, the Chariot card, is explained, so to speak, by the devil card, which sounds odd at first, but then again, Capricorn energy is not too alien for you because Cancer and Capricorn are opposing each other. And I think one of the truths that comes through our subconscious, at least every once in a while, is that, to be quite frank, in my own words, the Christian understanding of good and evil is just bullshit, in the sense that evil is part of this world and it does not oppose goodness. In the sense that if there is such a thing as a devil, it may want to be, it may want to oppose God, if we want to use that word. I mean, we already used the word devil, so let's throw in God as well. Um, but the devil could never be as powerful as God. Fine, that's not against Christian belief, but in the sense also that God created the devil. And if he did not do that deliberately, then he was still aware of the consequences of his actions. Because I believe in the, what's the word, omnipotence of God and the knowingness, I think it's called. So, like, the most powerful thing in the world is God, and he knows everything and he can do everything. But then again, I don't believe in a God that is a he. I don't believe that God is the highest thing there is, because as we use the word, God is a being, and the highest thing cannot be a being. I think the highest thing is a principle. And the highest principle obviously has no intentions, really, because only beings can have intentions, a will, so to speak. It becomes quite tricky to describe something truthfully with our limited language, obviously. But what I'm trying to get at here is that I find the Jewish tradition of Kabbalah very useful when it comes to understanding evil. They say that evil, they describe it as something they call klippa or klippot in plural, which means nutshell. And first, like, what does a nutshell have to do with evil? But if you think of the kernel of this, the almond, whatever, the walnut that is inside the nutshell, the shell itself can be very misleading. If you don't know what's inside, you're gonna think, okay, this nut thing is pretty nutty because I can't eat it, it's just hard. Maybe I can throw it at some people, whatnot, or get a bird out of the sky by, well, hitting it, and then I have lunch. But I need to understand what a nut is to not to find the value of the nut. I need to be able to open it. And if I can't do that, if I don't have the right tools, the nut, the clipper is gonna delude me into thinking wrongly about it by not understanding it. And that is evil. And they also think that clipper is clipot are shards of light, of unintegrated light that has fallen from higher realms into lower realms, and does not find an appropriate form in the lower realms because it is kind of not supposed to be there, in the sense that it's kind of outside of regular creation, like orderly creation. It is still part of the plan, if there is a plan, but it's still part of creation and it's not really wrong. It's just unorderly. It needs integration because it is unintegrated. It needs to find proper form or be sent back to the up above, so to speak. So in a way, it is inappropriate, like the presence of evil in our world automatically means that there is something inappropriate for this world, in this world. But it also means that it's not really a problem if we have the right perspective about it, if we understand evil all the way through. Understand that what is inside, what is the nutshell in relation to the nut, and this whole concept of nuts, the kernel, and nuts, kernel plus nutshell, so to speak. And I think a lot of things that are evil, where we are evil, where we do bad things because we have the wrong perspective, because we have not grown into the beings that have understood that, are going to be revealed to us soon. And it's going to be painful, it's going to be challenging. And I think the ones that have flexibility about themselves, about their ego, because ego very much can easily play into evil things. Obviously, I mean, I don't have to go into that, do I? Um, because if I again use the image of the Kabbalah, the Klippot, evil is unintegrated light. So what is it connected to most easily in our lives? It is our inner light, our ego, at least ego in a lower expression. Oh, well, ego as we understand it, but there is a higher ego. There is hope. There is a higher light within us. And I think actually the presence of evil in this world is a blessing in disguise. It is a curse. It is a curse, but every curse in my world, at least, is a blessing in disguise. And it'll be difficult to see that. It is difficult to see that, period. But perhaps it'll become more it'll become easier to see, to realize in the future. That's my hope, at least. And that's what I want to leave you with in this reading. Um, I think you're in a very, very good path here, Cancer. I'm quite impressed by this, by the steps that you're taking. Um, you got this. You just need to stay flexible. Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.